Hello, students. Today, we will learn about the identification and control of eggplant pests and diseases. As a common vegetable on our dining tables, eggplants are widely cultivated. However, during their growth, pests and diseases often accompany them. Various pests and diseases, such as red spider mites, thrips, and Phytophthora blight, constantly threaten the healthy growth of eggplants. Understanding the control methods for these pests and diseases is crucial to ensuring the yield and quality of eggplants. Next, we will elaborate on these in detail. This task will focus on learning about diseases and insect pests. Main knowledge objectives of the task: understand the symptoms of eggplant diseases. Understand the symptoms of eggplant insect pests. Master the control methods for eggplant pests and diseases. Main skill objectives of the task: be able to accurately identify pests and diseases based on symptoms. Be able to formulate control plans for different pests and diseases. Main quality objectives of the task: cultivate students' awareness of environmental protection. Establish standardized professional awareness and rigorous work processes. Now, let's first learn about eggplant diseases. Eggplant diseases are mainly divided into infectious diseases and physiological diseases, and we will study them through typical diseases. Eggplant Phytophthora blight. Eggplant Phytophthora blight is a fungal disease caused by NBSP, Phytophthora NBSP, of the Oomycota phylum, which occurs severely in high temperature and high humidity environments. It mainly harms parts of eggplants, such as fruits, leaves, and stems, and is one of the important diseases in eggplant production. Eggplant Phytophthora blight mainly harms fruits, but may also infect stems and leaves, especially the calyx and fruits near the ground, which are more prone to the disease. In the early stage of the disease, water-soaked lesions appear on the fruits, and then the lesions expand to form sunken yellow, brown to dark brown large spots, eventually leading to the rot of the entire fruit. When the leaves are affected, irregular near circular water-soaked spots form, with blurred edges and obvious concentric rings. When the stems are affected, the tender parts turn brown and rot, and severe cases can lead to stem constriction and withering. Under high humidity conditions, dense white mycelium forms on the surface of the diseased fruits, which is one of the remarkable characteristics of eggplant Phytophthora blight. Control methods for eggplant Phytophthora blight mainly include the following aspects. Crop rotation is an important measure to control eggplant Phytophthora blight, with a recommended cycle of 3 to 4 years to reduce the accumulation of pathogens in the soil. Choosing disease-resistant varieties is one of the effective methods to prevent eggplant Phytophthora blight, and the incidence of the disease can be significantly reduced by breeding disease-resistant varieties. Select plots with high terrain and good drainage for planting eggplants, and plant them at reasonable densities. Appropriately prune branches, and remove old leaves in a timely manner to enhance field ventilation and light transmission, reduce humidity, and reduce the occurrence of diseases. Plastic film mulching can reduce the chance of oospores splashing onto the fruits, thereby reducing the risk of disease occurrence. At the early stage of the disease, immediate chemical control should be carried out. It is recommended to use 58% metalaxyl manganese zinc wettable powder WP diluted 500 times or 64% oxadixyl Eggplant brown spot disease. Eggplant brown spot disease is mainly manifested as brown or dark brown circular or irregular lesions on the leaves. The edges of the lesions are darker in color, and the center is lighter in color. In severe cases, the lesions will merge into large patches, leading to leaf withering. This disease is prone to occur in warm and humid environments, especially when the temperature is between 20 up to 30 degrees Celsius and the humidity is high. The pathogens reproduce rapidly, easily causing disease outbreaks. The key to early identification lies in observing whether needle-tip-sized brown spots appear on the leaves, which will gradually expand to form lesions. At the early stage of the disease, timely removal and disposal of diseased leaves can effectively control the spread of the disease. Control measures for eggplant brown spot disease. Agricultural control includes measures such as selecting disease-resistant varieties, reasonable crop rotation, timely removal of diseased residues, reasonable planting density, and strengthening field management. Through these methods, the accumulation and spread of pathogens can be reduced, and the incidence rate can be lowered. Chemical control mainly relies on spraying fungicides such as benzimidazoles, triazoles, strobilurins. Spraying should be carried out in a timely manner at the early stage of the disease, once every 7 to 10 days, with 2 to 3 consecutive sprays to effectively control the disease. Comprehensive management recommendations include combining agricultural control and chemical control, while strengthening field monitoring and timely detection and treatment of diseases. In addition, attention should be paid to improving the overall disease resistance of eggplant plants, promoting healthy plant growth, and enhancing their resistance to diseases through reasonable fertilization and irrigation. Eggplant damping off is a soil-borne disease caused by fungi, mainly harming seedlings and leading to rapid wilting and lodging of plants. The main symptoms are water-soaked spots appearing at the base of the stem of the diseased plant, which then turn brown and soft rotten, ultimately leading to plant lodging and death. This disease mostly occurs in low temperature and high humidity environments, especially when the soil drainage is poor or the planting density is too high. Main control methods include reducing the spread and accumulation of pathogens through crop rotation, deep soil plowing, and the use of disease-free seeds. Chemical control measures can involve treating seeds and soil with appropriate fungicides before sowing and spraying fungicides at the early stage of the disease to control the condition. Comprehensive management recommendations combine agricultural control and chemical control, while paying attention to improving the soil environment and enhancing the plant's own resistance to achieve effective control of eggplant damping off. Root knot nematode disease. Root knot nematode disease is caused by nematodes of the Meldygine spp, which invade plant roots to form root knots, thereby affecting the normal growth of plants. The occurrence of root knot nematode disease is closely related to soil temperature, humidity, and soil type. A warm and humid soil environment is conducive to the reproduction and activity of nematodes, thereby exacerbating the occurrence of the disease. Infected eggplant roots show swelling and nodules, while the above-ground parts grow slowly. The leaves turn yellow, and in severe cases, the plants wither and die. The control of root knot nematode disease should adopt the principle of prevention first and comprehensive control. reducing nematode infestation through methods such as planting disease, resistant varieties, crop rotation, and deep soil plowing. Chemical control mainly uses nematicides such as aldicarb and phosphate, controlling nematode populations through soil treatment or seed treatment. Biological control methods such as natural enemies like predatory nematodes and fungi, as well as agronomic measures like reasonable irrigation and timely removal of diseased residues, can also be used to control the occurrence of root, not nematode disease. Comprehensive management recommendations adopt a comprehensive management strategy combining multiple measures, including planting disease, resistant varieties, reasonable crop rotation, soil treatment, biological control, and chemical control to achieve effective control of root, not nematode disease. Eggplant bacterial wilt is a bacterial disease caused by Pseudomonas aeruginosa, mainly transmitted through irrigation water, soil, and diseased residues. Infected eggplant plants show initial wilting and drooping of leaves, followed by rapid wilting of the entire plant. The vascular bundles of the stem turn brown, and milky white bacterial pus can flow out when the incision is squeezed. The occurrence of bacterial wilt is closely related to high temperature and high humidity environments, soil, pH, and continuous cropping obstacles, especially when the temperature is 25-30 degrees centigrade and the soil is acidic. The disease is severe. Control measures include reducing the number of pathogens through agricultural measures such as crop rotation, deep soil plowing, and removal of diseased residues, while selecting disease-resistant varieties and planting at reasonable densities to enhance the plant's disease resistance. At the early stage of the disease, copper-based preparations and antibiotic drugs such as streptomycin can be used for spraying, but attention should be paid to avoiding the development of drug resistance. Biological control technologies can use antagonistic bacteria such as Pseudomonas fluorescens for biological control, inhibiting the growth of pathogens through competition and reducing the use of chemical pesticides. At the same time, regular monitoring of field disease conditions, evaluation of control effects, and adjustment of control strategies according to the occurrence of diseases to achieve sustainable disease management. Next, we will learn about typical insect pests. The main insect pests of eggplants include cutworms, red spider mites, aphids, thrips, etc. Cutworms are a group of widely distributed nocturnal pests, among which Agrotus ypsilon and Agrotus tocinus cause the most serious damage to eggplants. Their larvae have variable body colors but are usually gray, brown, or dark brown on their bodies. Cutworms mainly cause damage to eggplants in their larval stage. They are active at night and feed on the leaves, stems, and roots of eggplants, especially preferring young plants. The larvae bite off the stem base of seedlings, causing plant lodging, and in severe cases, the entire field of eggplant seedlings can be completely destroyed. The life cycle of cutworms includes 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The larval stage is the main period when they cause damage to crops. Cutworm adults hide in soil cracks or weeds during the day and come out at night to mate and lay eggs. The larvae have strong migration ability, pupate in the soil, and adults appear in spring and autumn, feeding on plant leaves. Comprehensive control measures for cutworms. Agricultural control includes measures such as reasonable crop rotation, deep soil plowing, and timely removal of field weeds and residual plant debris. These methods can reduce the egg-laying sites and food sources of cutworms, thereby reducing pest populations. Physical control methods include using black light lamps to trap adults and setting up sticky traps to capture cutworm larvae based on their photodaxis. Biological control focuses on using natural enemies such as parasitic wasps and predatory insects, as well as introducing viral and bacterial preparations to control cutworm populations. Chemical control should be used as the last resort in comprehensive control measures. Reasonable use of insecticides can effectively control cutworm outbreaks. It is recommended to use insecticides with high selectivity and apply them in combination with the pest's activity patterns and the growth stage of the crops to reduce impacts on the environment and non-target organisms. Eggplant red spider mites are common agricultural pests belonging to the mites of the class Arachnida. Red spider mites have strong reproductive capabilities and can reproduce multiple generations a year, especially reproducing rapidly in warm and dry climatic conditions. Red spider mites suck the sap of eggplant leaves through their mouthparts, causing yellow spots and withering of the leaves, and in severe cases, even leading to the death of eggplant plants. Their activities not only directly affect the photosynthesis and growth of eggplants, but may also transmit viruses, increasing the risk of eggplant diseases. The identification of eggplant red spider mites mainly relies on their unique morphological characteristics and activity habits. Adults and nymphs have bright body colors, usually red or orange-red, and have flat bodies. On the back of eggplant leaves, fine silk webs and groups of red spider mites can be observed. In addition, the appearance of small yellow spots on the sohai leaves, damaged leaves, is also a sign of red spider mite damage. Agricultural control of eggplant red spider mites includes timely removal of field weeds and crop residues to reduce overwintering sites for red spider mites. Crop rotation with different families and avoiding continuous cropping of eggplants can reduce red spider mite populations. In addition, reasonable irrigation and fertilization to enhance the insect resistance of eggplant plants are also effective control measures. Chemical control mainly uses iocarones such as abamectin and hexathiazox, which can effectively control red spider mite populations. Biological control uses natural enemies of red spider mites, such as predatory mites, insects, and pathogenic microorganisms, to control red spider mite populations. For example, using predatory mites like NSP, Phytocylus porcimilis, which can effectively prey on red spider mites, is an environmentally friendly control method. Impact of aphids on eggplants. Aphids suck the sap of eggplant plants through their piercing, sucking mouthparts, leading to slow plant growth, leaf curling, and even withering and death. At the same time, aphids are vectors of various plant viruses, such as cucumber mosaic virus, CMV, and potato Y virus, PVY, which can severely reduce eggplant yield and quality. Aphids have extremely strong reproductive capabilities and can reproduce multiple generations a year. Female aphids can give birth to live offspring without mating, allowing aphid populations to increase rapidly in a short time. Control methods for eggplant aphids. Physical control includes using yellow sticky traps to trap adults, water flushing to remove aphids, and covering plants with insect-proof nets to reduce aphid damage to eggplants. Chemical control mainly uses insecticides such as imidacloprid and thiamethoxam, which directly kill aphids by spraying pesticides, but attention should be paid to the frequency and dosage of pesticide use to avoid the development of drug resistance. Using natural enemies, such as ladybugs and hoverflies to control aphid populations, or using viral insecticides, such as aphid nuclear polyhedrosis virus, NPV, can reduce the use of chemical pesticides. Comprehensive management measures include reasonable fertilization, timely removal of field weeds and residual plants, crop rotation, etc., which can reduce the living and reproductive conditions of aphids and effectively control their damage. Morphological characteristics of eggplant thrips. Eggplant thrips are tiny in size, with adults about 1 to 2 mm in length, usually yellowish, brown to dark brown in color, with slender bodies and wings, and lighter colored antennae and feet. Living habits of thrips. Thrips prefer warm and dry environments, are usually active during the day, and hide on the back of leaves or in soil cracks at night. They reproduce rapidly and can occur in multiple generations a year. Eggplant thrips suck the sap of eggplant leaves, flowers, and fruits with adults and nymphs, leading to yellow spots on the leaves, deformed flowers, and sunken or scarred fruit surfaces, seriously affecting eggplant yield and quality. Agricultural control of thrips includes planting insect resistant varieties, reasonable crop rotation, timely removal of field weeds and residues, and using coverings such as insect-proof nets for physical isolation of thrips. Physical control technologies include using yellow sticky boards to attract and kill adults, setting up water films or water curtains as physical barriers, and using the thrips tropism to specific colors for trapping and killing. Chemical control measures involve using insecticides such as imidacloprid and thiamethoxam, but attention should be paid to reasonably rotating pesticides with different mechanisms of action to avoid thrips developing drug resistance.